She won't say it out loud, but she can sense it. She can feel when you've abandoned your soul to win her gaze. When you've started living for her instead of your mission, she knows. And the second that awareness hits her, admiration fades. Respect vanishes. You shift from the man she looked up to the man she merely puts up with. This is the pit where most men stumble. They give up their values, their calling, and even their essence just to keep her around. They label it love. They convince themselves it's loyalty. But it's not love. It's capitulation. And a true Stoic, he never gives himself away like that. Want to know what truly separates men who are respected, admired, and centered from those who end up forgotten, discarded, or used? Stay with me. I'm about to share 10 things a real Stoic never does with women. Once you grasp these beals, you'll see relationships through a whole new lens. 1. Chase her like she's the source of your happiness. A Stoic man doesn't pursue a woman like his joy depends on her. The moment you do, you've handed over the very thing Stoicism teaches you to protect above all, your sovereignty. Look around. Today most men have been trained to see women as the prize. They behave like their value only exists through romantic validation. They compete. They overextend. They sacrifice time, values, and even identity just to be noticed. And when they finally are, they call it love. But what it really is addiction. And addiction is just another form of slavery. True happiness isn't found in others. It's found in your virtue, your discipline, your command over self. When you chase from desperation, you're silently saying, "You're my lifeline, my anchor, my purpose." But what happens when that anchor vanishes? You collapse. That's why chasing is so dangerous. It puts your emotional stability into someone else's hands, someone who owes you nothing. You give away your power and hope she doesn't misuse it. The Stoic flips the script. He doesn't reject relationships, but he refuses to hinge his joy on them. He sees love as a bonus, not the base. Men chase because they think it yields results. They think enough gifts, texts, or sacrifices will earn them love. And sometimes, sure, they get a response. But she doesn't crave him. She doesn't respect the man who erases himself to gain her favor. She may keep him around. She might use him. She could even enjoy him, but she doesn't want him. Real desire comes from polarity, from two whole, sovereign people choosing one another, not one man scrambling for validation while she decides how much he's worth. The Stoic doesn't chase, he attracts. He doesn't beg, he builds. He radiates happiness with or without her, and that kind of energy, it draws her in. Because when she senses you don't need her, when you are immovable in who you are, that's when she feels something rare from a man, security. Not in the sense of physical safety, but in emotional stability. She realizes you won't unravel in her presence. And ironically, that makes her lean in closer. Here's a truth many men run from. If you're chasing her, it's not love you're feeling, it's fear. Fear of being alone, of not measuring up, of not being chosen. And any action driven by fear always ends in pain. The Stoic mindset is simple. I want her, but I don't need her. If she stays, great. If she walks, still great. I'll be fine. Either way, that's freedom, that's strength. If you're always initiating, over-planning, or trying to win her back after she's gone, cold stop. Ask yourself, would I respect this man if I saw him from the outside? Am I moving like a man or a boy begging for love? Redirect your focus, build your body, sharpen your mind, deepen your purpose, widen your world. Create a life that doesn't orbit around her. Learn to walk away not as a tactic, but as your default setting. Because the moment you stop chasing women like your happiness depends on them, that's the moment they start chasing you. Not because you tricked them, but because you finally become unshakable, too. Lose yourself in her emotions. The real Stoic doesn't dissolve inside her emotional storms. But most men, that's exactly what happens. They think they're stable until she laughs and they're flying high, or she cries and they fall apart. Her validation becomes their fuel, her approval, their oxygen. They don't even notice they've surrendered their emotional independence until it's gone. By then, they've stopped being a man. They've become a mirror, reflecting whatever storm she's in. At first, it feels noble. I'm just being supportive, they tell themselves. But quickly, care turns into codependency. She's sad, they spiral. She's distant, they panic. She's loving, and suddenly they feel whole again. But Stoicism was never about being pulled by the tide. It's about standing still while the tide rages. You can love her completely, but you remain unshaken. Because once you let her emotions dictate yours, you've lost the one thing Stoics refuse to give up: control of self. And here's what women instinctively feel even if they don't say it. The man who absorbs her moods like gospel, she can't respect him. At first, she might like the power, but deep down, she resents carrying the emotional weight for both of you. The Stoic supports her pain without becoming a victim of it. He stands firm, he does not react. He doesn't collapse just because she's going through something. He is a mountain, not a balloon blown by every breeze. And strangely enough, this makes her feel safer. Because now, she doesn't need to carry you when she's already carrying herself. If you're drowning in her feelings, you've already drowned the relationship. No woman can love a man who has erased himself, but the man who remains solid while loving deeply. He earns something greater than attention. He earns respect, and without that, no relationship lasts.